Perfect. Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. And today we have Cyndi O'Neill-Dady. She's from Exceptional Connections, and she's a founder and chief connector. Can everybody hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. And welcome aboard. So I'm going to introduce Cyndi O'Neill-Dady. Cyndi, a seasoned professional with a BA in English from the University of California, brings over 16 years of expertise in business relationship marketing strategy. In 2009, she established Exceptional Connections Networking, driven by her vision to become an exceptional connector. As a driving force in this initiative, Cyndi mentors business professionals to create lasting and meaningful connections. She cultivates authenticity through her 6 steps to exceptional connecting process, empowering rapport, facilitating change, and building trust. As an avid organic gardener, her commitment extends to creating nurturing environments that foster growth through connections, allowing relationships to transform into advocates. Cyndi's networking lessons gleaned from my garden, a 6-step framework drawing parallels between networking and gardening, showcases her nature-inspired insights. A contributor to a Women of Influence audio compilation, Cyndi's dedication to authentic connection positions her as an inspirational figure in networking and relationship building. And over to Cyndi.
Oh, thanks so much. Thank you
You're
so
welcome,
much,
Cyndi.
Ronnie and Brenda, for inviting me to share my passion for relationship building with your amazing team. It's an honor to be with you today. And so Brenda asked me to start off with a fun icebreaker question. And Ronnie kindly put it in the chat box. But as we approach the 4th quarter of 2023, I invite you to reflect. So what steps can you take now to ensure that you not only end this year strong, but also that you step into the new year nourished, focused, and thriving in both your professional and business life? And so, for example, I'm going to give you, example. I have a few hobbies that relax me after a long day of working on my computer and hosting events. And so I enjoy Pilates, doing graphic design, and organic gardening. And so feel free to unmute yourselves and share your self-care practices. If you can do that in just like 1 or 2 things, 10 seconds, that'd be great. So who wants to take care of yourself? Who wants to share about taking care of yourself and feeling nurtured, focused, and thrive?
I'll start.
Oh, hey, Ronnie.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Lisa's waiting in the lobby.
Okay, I just admitted her.
Oh, okay.
Thanks. There. Thank you, Linda. Okay, perfect. Oh, hi, Brenda. Okay. I like dancing, keeping myself in good shape, and I enjoy hiking and camping and spending time with my family and my dogs.
Awesome. That's great. Who else wants to go? 2 or 3 things that really revive you.
I'll go.
Yes.
So I love to read. And so I read probably maybe at least a book or 2 each week. Nothing really large, but I love to just immerse myself in a whole different world. So I enjoy that. I love to garden, just like you, and especially herbs, where I like to grow my herbs, then dry them, and then use them throughout the year. So I do oregano, rosemary, thyme. I'm trying basil this year, and I got a bay leaf plant. So,
Oh, beautiful.
yeah, that gives me a lot of joy doing that. Well, it just takes a lot of time. And then I love to fish. So I recently joined a women's fishing group thingy on Facebook, and I have a steelhead fishing trip planned in early January on the peninsula. So those are my things.
Awesome. Anybody else? One more.
I see Colleen. Maybe she should do it. I see her smiling face. Otherwise,
That's okay. Can you hear me?
we
Yes.
can.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I like to do some meditation in the morning to get my day started right. I'm in a good frame of mind. And then I try to get my dogs out walking like at least once a day. If it's pouring down rain, then I don't. But at least that does get me kind of out in the fresh air and getting some exercise. And then I play volleyball. I'm kind of injured right now, but I still play competitive in a seniors leagues and internationally I play.
Wow.
That kind of stuff gets me, energized and get there's always an event to try to get in shape for.
That's exhausting.
Yeah.
To me, but that's awesome.
Yep, that's it.
Anybody else?
So-
We have time, Cyndi.
Well, let's do one quick one. Brenz, why don't you share?
Well, I think they all know me, but I'll let them know. I'm a big gardener. I love to cook, and that's really those two things just take me away from being in the computer and in my head all the time, and it also gets me moving. So I'm also like a little glass of wine, or more. So I'm sure they're all giggling in the back. So they all know me, but really truly it really just helps me unwind, both digging in the dirt, and there was a time in my life I never would wreck my fingernails or look at a bug or anything else. Now I'm out there, it doesn't matter, I'm on slug patrol with a flashlight, I do things like that. But and I love to cook, and I get so much satisfaction out of it. Both my husband enjoys what I make, and I think most of my friends, when I cook, they love it. So it just gives me a lot of gratification, but it also calms me down and puts me in my center. So
Yes. Well, I love it. This is a great way to start off. So thank you guys for sharing, and we're just going to get going here.
great.
All right, so we're going to start off with something a little somber here, because in the backdrop of a population exceeding 334 million in the United States and a global populace surpassing 8.1 billion in 2023, so the U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, he highlights that often overlooked public health crisis of loneliness, isolation. So this is all emphasizing the profound impact of social connections and well-being and productivity. We've all learned this, right? In the last 3 years with COVID and being isolated and working from home. So I shared this quote about our epidemic of loneliness and isolation to underscore the urgent need for meaningful connections and to introduce the transformative power of my 6 steps to exceptional connecting. So armed with these insights and gratitude, which is the highest form of love, right? We can build a country that's healthier, more resilient, less lonely, and more connected. So I'm going to just stop share for a second, because I want to be able to, before we get going and dive in, I want everyone to just take a moment, if you're able to, unless you're driving, don't do this if you're driving. Just put your feet flat on the floor, and I'm going to have us take a couple quick breaths just to get centered here so we can be present as we explore this innovative process. So just go ahead and close your eyes if you'd like, and let's go. Let's take one more. Perfect. Okay. I want you to imagine viewing every chance encounter as a connection that can change the course of your life. What does that look like? I mean, every chance encounter, a connection that could change the course of your life, at the Pilates, grocery store line, or even in a Microsoft meeting, right? So do you realize that this mindset opens us up all to the possibility of creating a life we love and inviting amazing people into it? How cool is that? I had a chance encounter. It was the first day of the first week of the University of California, Irvine. I was petrified on the inside while doing my very best to appear cool as a cucumber and confident on the outside. So students in my college class sat in rows, lecture style, like a movie theater, We're all connected, yet at the same time, really kind of in our own, deserted island. So to break the awkwardness when the professor said something goofy or annoying or unexpected, I found myself, kind of looking at my neighbor, my friend sitting right next to me to be able to commiserate with. So we talked with our eyes until our mouths were able to catch up after class. And so connecting and comparing schedules. We learned we were in a few of the same general ed classes, even though I was an English major, she was pre-med. So we walked across campus, maps in hand, signaling we were like fresh off the boat, freshmen, right? With only a few precious moments we had to spare, we were able to discover, listen, and form the trust and bond that allowed us to contribute to each other as late night study buddies, be in each other's weddings, celebrate our growing families for the past 45 years. So I'm sure you guys can relate to this. You have your own story of people that are important in your life, right? So we've kept our relationship alive and thriving by following up and nurturing our lifelong friendship. So what I want to put before you is connections can happen in an instant, yet take a lifetime to enrich and nurture. So I learned these valuable lessons from this seemingly chance encounter that had been repeated many times in my life. So let me switch over here. So I've discovered that the key to a wonderful life is indeed exceptional connections. So Simon Sinek clearly articulates that 100% of people are customers. 100% of employees are customers. If you don't understand people, you don't understand business. I love Simon Sinek, by the way. So expressing genuine gratitude and interest in people can connect you in so many levels that we haven't even imagined. And it does take time and consistent effort to unlock the mastery of relationship building. But this leads to so many abundant opportunities. And I think it's really worth being able to visit this. So the challenge that many people face when interacting with others is they lack the necessary interpersonal skills needing to be effective. So I think it's really timely that we think about this with what we've been through. So President Theodore Roosevelt says the single most important ingredient to the formula in the formula of success is knowing how to get along with people. So now it's time to explore the world of exceptional connecting and being a person of influence. So I'm passionate about sharing with you my connection circle, 6 fundamental steps that are keys to successful relationship building. So this powerful process of exceptional connecting will transform your ordinary everyday activities into a more meaningful, intentional action plan that builds lasting connections. So on the road to becoming an exceptional connector, it's really important to be adept at navigating these 6 steps. So what I do when I go into any kind of a meeting is I'll say to myself, okay, breathe like we did, be centered, be grounded, and just say, okay, all I need to do is connect, discover, listen. And that really puts me in a different space. So let's get going. So, okay, first step in the journey is to connect. So connection is the energy that exists between people when we feel seen, heard, and witnessed. This is the energy that exists. And I love this quote by Brené Brown. And, when they derive sustenance and strength from the relationship. So if knowledge is power, then learning to connect is a superpower for sure, right? So there's 3 tenets, 3 bullet points to identify the connection piece of the puzzle. The first one is be your best self. So it's important for us to be comfortable in our own skin, right? To be authentically showing up. So growing up, whenever I felt insecure, my mom would always remind me, Cyndi, be yourself, everyone else is taken. And that always helped me. That always grounded me. So establish trust and rapport. So this is the secret sauce of healthy relationships. When we trust someone, we place our faith and confidence in their word, reliability, and their deeds, right? So Stephen Covey says, trust is the glue of life. It's the essential ingredient in effective communication. It's the foundational principle that holds all relationships. And I love that. Next is be a discovery expert. So each of the pieces of the puzzle, they wrap into the next one. So this is the opportunity where we're going to learn about in a minute to discover what's currently important to them and to create common ground, not yourself, right? We're going to learn that. Okay, succeeding in business, as Richard Branson said, is all about making connections. So let's jump into the next piece of the puzzle, discover. So once you connect, it's time to start discovering what people are up to. Okay, I got a little wonky here on my screen. Give me a second, sorry. Okay, so the discover piece is one of my favorite pieces because it's really it's about learning what is currently important to that person, creating common ground and really understanding what their needs are. And this is a really big idea. So the quality of our lives is directly related to the quality of our thinking. The quality of our thinking, in turn, is determined by the quality of our questions. For questions are the engine, the driving force behind thinking. Don't you love that? I love that. I think that's so great. So Walt Whitman shares with us, be curious, not judgmental. And that's so true. We don't want to judge people. We want to just lean in and be curious. So our working definition of discover is to validate the other person by asking questions and showing sincere interest in their answers. So it's important to validate people by asking questions and, straightforward way to learn more about them. So the more we learn, the more we ask, the more we learn about their life, their work, their people, and ourselves. You learn about yourself through other people, right? That's what I mean by that. A lot of people don't understand that. When you're listening, you're actually learning about yourself. So the voyage of discovery is not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. So the three main components of discover are to be curious. So this is about engaging versus interrogating. So when we're being curious, we're not interrogating people. We're just asking questions because we sincerely and genuinely want to know. We want to be more interested than interesting, right? Next is to have fun. So let's have fun with the process. Let's flex that muscle, practice, get better and better at it. And I want to encourage you to start with your family and friends so they get really good at it and people don't feel like you're a creep, like, why do you want to know this? My husband's amazing. We can be in a grocery store line. We just got to the checker. I have to go run and get something. I come back and the guy's sharing his life story and, like his social security number with my husband. And I'm like, how'd you get him to open up in such a quick, and he'll say, oh, I commented on his hat or something like that. And before you know it, there's this rapport built and there's this trust. So it can happen really, really quickly. And of course, be an active listener. So I have this mirroring technique that I want to offer you, the subtle world techniques to build trust and rapport. It has to do with our tone of voice. It has to do with our body language. It has to do with our gestures. We need to pay attention to all of that. So mirroring a partner's gestures. Oh, what happened there? Sorry. Mirroring a conversation partner's gestures, their poise, their vocal pitch, their tone, that can all help build rapport. Now, you're not doing this because you're like copying them. I want you to get that, okay? So here's an example from one of my meetings, and this was just caught, and I just love it because it totally embodies what I'm talking about here. You can see how their arms are kind of turned in. They're not trying to copy each other, but they're in sync with each other, and that's what happens in conversations. But the main thing is they have the eye contact. So some of you may notice that Jen Mueller there, she's a sports reporter for the Mariners and the Seahawks, and she was our spotlight speaker. So here's another photo capturing how they naturally are mirroring each other. You see how they're not copying each other? They're just in sync, but the eye contact. So that's what I mean by mirroring. Okay. So listening, oh my gosh, listening is so important and it's so underrated, and it deserves its own puzzle piece to be able to talk about it. So we've connected, we've built rapport, trust, and common ground. We've asked great questions to discover what they're up to. Now it's time to listen. So the word listen contains the same letters as the word silent. Trust me, try it out yourself. It's called an anagram. And isn't that interesting? I'll just leave you with that. Silence is so powerful. It's so important. There's so much to be learned from it. Says Mr. Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. For any of those of you who watched that when you were a kid like me, I thought it was great. He's a great spokesperson, and really embodies the art of listening. So the definition of listening is to hear with thoughtful intention, to give consideration, ponder, to give attention to be intentional. In short, to be all ears, because we have one mouth and two ears. Here's a hint. So even a fool is thought wise if he keeps silent, and discerning if he holds his tongue. Here's a little slide on active listening. So L, look at who you're talking with. I, inquire after listening. Because the pieces of the puzzle, connect, discover, listen, it's not a check, check, check. You're flowing through that, but there's a definite order. You want to build the rapport first. You want to ask questions. You want to then listen to those questions and take that in and be able to have a conversation. So stay focused, be present, right? Tune in, eye contact, and then of course, notice the verbal cues. So when you talk, you're only repeating what you already know. But if you listen, voila, we may even learn something new, right? I love that quote by Dalai Lama. Okay, so how are we doing on time? Let's see, where am I?
Great. We're almost at 11:30.
Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to have you guys put in the chat box some things that kind of hang you up with listening. Because listening is an interesting one. Listening is something that we're not trained to do. We want to talk all the time. We feel like we need to, to be, clever or what have you. So go ahead and put in the chat box, because we're halfway through, what you've learned about connect, discover, listen, and then I'm going to keep going here. So here's a litmus test to put a bow around listening. If you find yourself thinking about what you're going to say, then you're probably distracted and not really listening. And I hate to say this, may even have a hidden agenda. Okay, so use that as a litmus test. Just if you find yourself thinking about what you're going to say, then you need to stop yourself, ground yourself, and connect, discover, listen. Okay, contribute. Before you can, yes.
Cyndi, can I just ask? I can't find my chat box. Is it something I should be seeing on the screen?
It's at the bottom of the screen.
And
it says chat. It's participants, chat, polls. It should be a black line at the bottom of the screen.
I wonder.
Or it could be for you higher up. It could be where the photos are.
Okay. Well, I'll try to find it. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. If it doesn't work, that's okay. We have another exercise at the end we're hoping to get to if time allows here. So contribute. So before you can effectively contribute to someone, you must first, again, connect, discover, listen, complete the right part of the hemisphere. The good news is, if you're intentional, this can happen in minutes, right? So as Zig Ziglar ponders, you can have everything in life you want if you will just help other people get what they want. By show of hands, I'm sure some of you guys can relate to that and say, yeah, I've heard that before. That's really important. So our working definition of contribute is to give without attachment or expectation, so that something may happen for someone else. Again, notice is about the other person, right? So the tenets of contribute are, again, connect, discover, listen. That's the foundation. Nobody wants to be contributed to, given a referral. Hey, I have an idea for you. You might want to wear your hair this a different way. Hey, you might want to check out this guy, optician, and they can, give you some ideas for new glasses. Nobody's open to new suggestions or ideas if you don't feel like they get you, or you don't feel heard, or you don't feel like they know who you are. So it's important to, when you're contributing, to build that foundation of connect, discover, listen, to release the attachment to any outcome or agenda, as we talked about before. And then again, this is the piece of the puzzle that wraps into the next one. Say what you do what you say. That's part of building trust. So next is invest in relationships. So your relationship bank account grows when you make more deposits than withdrawals. I love this. So this is all about the investing in relationships is very much like financial deposits. And it's about consistently contributing positive actions to grow and maintain a thriving relationship in your relationship bank account. So again, consider the magic of the relationship ratio 5-to-1. I kind of put that together with some studies I had read, but I implemented it with this connection circle. So these you want to have nurturing positive interactions that outweigh negative ones. So we all know things happen, things are said, situations occur, and it's kind of like a ding, on our relationship bank. And so you want to be always conscious of contributing, depositing into that, right? Because you want to be able to stay on the positive side here. So I love this graphic. This is so much fun. So it just really illustrates, it's kind of like a piggy bank, right? You want to have 5 positive interactions for every one that is being held, one negative ding, if you will. So my screen is seizing up here. So give me just a second. Technical challenges here. Okay. All right, so let me get to the next one. Oops. So life, you got to see that. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Right? We want to know, what are we doing for others? What are we contributing? The 5-to-1, because you don't want to break the bank, right? Failing to follow the magic relationship 5-to-1 ratio in taking out more withdrawals and deposits ultimately breaks the bank, affects the relationship, leads to conflict. We don't want to do that. So the law of contribution states the level of your success and happiness is in direct proportion to the number of people you serve selflessly. And again, that's kind of underlining the Zig Ziglar quote we heard earlier. How am I doing for time? I can't see my clock right now.
It's 11:35.
Okay.
You're doing fine. We have a little bit of buffer also. So yeah, keep going.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So follow-up puzzle piece. So follow-up is the ongoing effort to exchange consistently. Okay. Engage consistently, not exchange. Follow-up is the ongoing effort to engage consistently. So this is our relationship showcase, to showcase our commitment to build trust, rapport, and relationship, while still establishing a shared foundation for addressing challenges. So you've heard this before, the fortune's in the follow-up, and it's so true. So the follow-up process is the process of consistent engagement, of building trust, rapport, and relationships. It's all about establishing common ground for solving problems and solving challenges. A lot of people are really intimidated by follow-up, and they think, oh, I'm bad at this, so they don't do it. And following up is just being your word, right? We're going to talk about that. So trust
When
must
people
be.
get so busy, right? And then you don't take the time to follow up. You think, I got to get back to them. I'm famous for this because I'm just overloaded. And then it's like 10 o'clock at night and you're like, I need to follow up with them. So it's not just that you don't want to do it. It's sometimes it's, you get delayed, but.
And life happens. Life gets in the way. But
Exactly.
yeah, I love what you say. And it's really, thank you for chiming in, Brenda, because, here it is. I'm going to read this and then I want to say, trust must be built day by day and calls for consistency, right? But we're all humans. We drop the ball. We forget. Life is busy. Things happen. But I always tell people, even if you don't get a thank you card out for a month, it's okay.
Yeah.
But just follow up and always just say, I apologize. Here it is, do the best we can. We want to be in integrity, but we also need to be, kind to ourselves. So
Really
I'm going to
important
touch
in our jobs too, Cyndi, because follow-up for us is like paramount in success. And people are waiting to get something back from us when they've asked for a request. So
Yes.
it is very important.
Yes. Now, here's what I want to share with you, because I want to underline this because, I appreciate what you said, because it's in, personal life and in your business life. So I've identified 3 things that we can really focus on when we're looking at follow-up. And one is embrace a growth mindset. So what I mean by that is seek to educate people. It's not about selling. I know that you guys have a different model paradigm, but it's still, when you're in business, it's about educating people on what you have to offer. Be of service. Lead with education. So let me just tell you a quick story here. So for years in building my businesses, you don't want to lead with desperation. That scares people away, right? But what you want to do is be able to be your word, follow up, all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to do it. And sometimes if I couldn't do it right, I didn't do it at all. And it's just all those things that keeps you from really going forward. And so I realized, I need to have a positive mindset about this. If I think I don't want to be a pest, they're going to think she's a pest, right? It's weird how that works. If you say, I am somebody that follows up, I have integrity, and my job is to educate them on what I offer, then guess what? They feel that too. So the mindset is important. Next is stay in touch, be your word, and automate whatever you can to help accomplish your intentions. The last one is to nurture your network, which rolls into our next piece here. So it was character that got us out of bed. Zig Ziglar is amazing. I love all this stuff. Commitment that moved us out into action, and discipline that enables us to follow through. It's true. It's our integrity. So why follow-up is critical. So every month you're not in contact with your customers, you lose 10% of your influence with them. So staying in touch with people is really important. The number one reason customers stop doing business with a company is perceived indifference. I was shocked at this. People don't leave business, do business with somebody else, a lot of times because of the product or the service. It's because of the care. So if they don't think you care, they'll go with somebody else. So customers who feel appreciated generate more referrals for you. Zero advertising dollars generates 80% more results than a cold lead, right?
And
Critical.
our customers are our teams, and our, you think of it, I use this a lot, that, we have internal customers, but we also have external customers as well, so it's whoever we're partnering with at the time.
Yes.
And I always refer to them, your customer now is, your team or your
Yes.
manager or whoever crosses your threshold or hits your inbox, right? So yeah, I love this.
You shared that with me, and I thought that was brilliant, because I present mainly to B2B, business to business. And so this is a slightly different paradigm, but it's super important because you're defining the customer could be each other, right? Because you want to have the relationships. Yeah, that's brilliant. So John Maxwell says, diligent follow-up and follow-through will set you apart from the crowd and communicate excellence. It's true, set you apart. If
Yeah.
you want to, be able to be somebody who has integrity and trustworthy, follow up is the best way, because that's the action that exhibits that. So I just want to encourage you, master the art of follow up.
I think also, and I want to just add forgiveness too, because we do get busy. So I notice, sometimes I like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Someone pings me and I'm like, I apologize for, missing something or not getting back to you in a timely manner. But I think also giving yourself a little bit of grace and understanding that we
Yes.
do get busy. In our jobs right now, I mean, we're busier than we've ever been. And I've been here 29 years and I have never been this busy in my life. And, it's not a bad thing. It's just very hard to keep up with everything. And these relationships are sometimes you take for granted, especially when we're partners and working together. And you just think, well, they know I need the help, or they know, I'm really busy, so they'll forgive me. And
Yes.
sometimes you have to forgive yourself a little too,
Yes.
and give yourself some
Yeah.
grace. So, yeah.
So I should be paying you, because you're just helping me to move to the next thing here, because we
Well,
have to
I love
nurture.
this stuff. They all know me.
We have to nurture ourselves too, right?
Exactly.
We have to
Exactly.
nurture our family. We have a lot of people to nurture to, but if you're nurturing from an empty tank, you're not nurturing to anybody.
No.
So you have to be kind to yourself first and foremost. So thank you for that, Brenda. So in the context of nurturing relationships, it's essential to recognize the significant impact of caring for, committing to, and actively connecting, cultivating your connections and taking care of yourself so that you can be able to give back. So as a gardener, and I heard some of you were gardeners too, we don't just plant the seed and walk off. We have to water the seed. We have to nurture the seed and tend it and prune it and pick, harvest at the right time. It's all an ongoing process. And that's why I love using the word nurture, because after follow-up, you're just loving on that person, that relationship, and taking it to the next level. And for those of you who, your clients, like Brenda was saying, your team is your client sometimes, and the teams are the vendors and the outside clients as well. You guys need to treat each other better than anybody else. It's like it's a family. You're a family. And when you're a family, it makes it a little more difficult.
Well,
So working definition.
No one does it alone. We are a team, and it takes a team to do it well. So I'm always preaching about team. So
that's right. So the process for caring for and encouraging the growth of someone else or development of someone else, that's what nurturing is all about. So I was inspired by Ronnie to learn that although Microsoft's mission statement has evolved over the years, right? Chief Executive Officer, and I hope I pronounce his name right, Satya Nadella has emphasized a mission centered, on empowering individuals and organizations to achieve, right? So the connection circle is really synergistic with that, right? So it's all about caring unselfishly, it's committing to make a difference, it's cultivating your connections.
But also, I want to add, it kind of circles back to your earlier slide, about being an educator. To empower someone, educate them, share that knowledge. And I say this a lot, share the knowledge. It makes us all stronger. It empowers us to be the best. And I love that whole saying that's on that wall. So yeah, that was a great add to the deck.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, it's all about caring unselfishly, right? And caring involves reaching out, planting seeds of encouragement, hope, and love. It means setting aside our own desires sometimes or agendas to take care of the needs of others.
Lots of times.
Yeah.
Not forever, but for
No,
time being.
but
Yeah, it does.
There's a time and a season for that when there's a balance, right? You need to take care of yourself. There's boundaries, all that kind of stuff. Commit to make a difference. Commitment means doing things that we don't feel like doing sometimes, which includes taking action and following up, right? And then cultivating your connection. So again, the relationship with the garden, tending your relationship garden, I call it, nurturing your network, Nurturing your relationships. This is a process, not an event. So while preparing for this presentation, I found inspiration in Brenda's discussion of Microsoft's commitment to coach, model, and care. And so I recognize this commitment aligns perfectly with the 6 steps of exceptional connecting. So by coaching and guiding individuals, modeling positive relationship behaviors, and genuinely caring for their well-being, Microsoft embodies the principles of building strong connections, discovering needs, can you get the words here? Contributing to mutual success, following up consistently, and nurturing relationships for long-term growth and collaboration.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's the driving message I want to leave you guys with. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to, I have a, Ronnie, you're going to put this question in the chat box. So we're going to do a little, we have time, right?
Yes, you
we
have
do.
10 minutes, so we have
Okay,
10
good.
minutes.
So we're going to, I just need a few minutes to finish up at the very end, but we're going to go ahead and do an open forum. So feel free to unmute yourself. And the question is, imagine you're attending an event where you don't know anyone. Okay. Now, what I want to do is have you remember, connect, discover, listen, connect, discover, listen, right? That's all you have to know. So what is your go-to conversation starter to make a memorable first impression? So again, feel free to unmute yourself. We'd love to hear just really quickly, say 10 seconds, just your go-to starter. And I'm going to start us off. So as a relationship marketing strategist, I call them and I teach at my events quick connect statements. So a quick connect statement is something you create ahead of time so that you can make that, really good first impression, let people know what you're passionate about and what you do. So instead of saying, I'm a relationship marketing strategist with mailbox power and blah, 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 people just turn you off. I say, I help businesses attract and keep customers. And then they'll say, oh yeah, that's really interesting. So tell me more. I'll say, yeah, it's easier to keep a customer than to get a new one, right? And they'll say, yeah, that's true. And I'll say the challenge of most businesses is people focus on the customers coming in the front door, but they forget about the ones going in the back door. Okay, so the point I'm trying to make here is this little conversation starter. I help businesses attract and keep customers. See how that can just naturally evolve into just a really beautiful conversation where you get connected, discover, and listen, and they're more apt to lean in and find out what it is you do and possibly have, build that relationship. So I hope that gives you a good idea of just, that's all I want from you right now is just something like, I help, what is the first thing you say to people when you meet them? And put that in the context of what you learned today.
It's a real thoughtful question too, because a lot of times, we don't know all the people on the team, they know us. And so, and even when you're in your own personal circles, you meet other people and you may know just the immediate people, and then having to put yourself out there. My thing is I always make some type of compliment to what they're doing first and foremost. If I'm engaging with someone for the first time, I want to find some common thing that we maybe both I admire in them, and then I say something. But I find that it's really challenging over the years, when you're supporting big teams, they know who I am, every one of them, and they've seen my ups and downs, and I don't know them. So then I have to figure out how to approach them when they do come across my threshold or I'm meeting them in person and they need something. So I try to really find something that we can have common ground with, that with any human being, right? It's not that I know them,
Right.
so I can say, "Oh, you're a gardener, aren't you?" Because they have dirt under their fingernails. No, I don't do that. But I do look for ways to make a compliment, or to, if they're just saying something interesting and I happen to walk up, to really, like you say, listen and engage and really think about how I will fit into this. How can I? Do I even want to? Sometimes, but yes, I mean, a lot of people, a lot of times they're afraid to step in to people they don't know. And I think this is a great practice of coming up with just a little blurb, that a statement that gets you connected almost instantly. And it may not be a deep connection that you're going to cultivate and nurture later, but you can at least feel comfortable walking in and talking to anybody. I'm not bashful. There are people that are more bashful than me.
Right.
I'm also super, super curious. So I'm always looking, like, what are you doing? What are you what are you up to? So I think it's a challenge to come up in our situations, and I'm sure everybody's thinking about what they could do. But I find, really truly, I try to immediately find something like, oh my gosh, you have beautiful eyes, or something, like your eyes
Yes.
are so amazing, or and you keep it neutral, but find something that you can start off where they're all of a sudden smiling. And a big
Right.
smile, just to walk up to somebody and smile, is amazing. It just sets the tone, and then the rest of us, they go off. And I say this all the time, every day for admins: set the tone, smile, and we'll watch it just, as a domino effect throughout the day.
It
So
is. It's a
really hard.
beautiful, it's a beautiful ripple effect, and it is an art.
Yeah.
Connecting is an art. It's an art that people can, be able to embrace, and just do it one relationship at a time. Something you brought up, Brenda, that I think is just really brilliant is, not everybody's going to be a bosom buddy.
No.
And so, no, but at the same time, as I started at the beginning of the program, I don't take anybody for granted at the beginning, right? Every first encounter is a connection that could change the course of your life. That's my expectation.
Yeah,
That's
there's
what I put out there
possibilities.
for everybody I
Yeah.
meet.
There's possibilities. That's how, and I always am a glass half full kind of girl. So, I'm going up and thinking, wow, let's fill her up the rest of the way.
Yeah,
That's the way I think. So anyway,
absolutely. Because,
let's hear from someone else, maybe. I'd love to hear. Don't make me call your names out.
I'll
Hello?
go.
Okay.
I just love connecting with people. I mean, just the other day we had a pizza morale event, and there's another organization that joined us, and they were just in their own separate groups. I just went there and started just talking. Hey, I'm the new I'm the admin for Azure Security. How are you guys doing? And just conversation. Again, I'm just like Brenda. I'm very curious about life. If you don't ask, you're not going to know. Just the other day, I was going in the elevator, and this lady had these Halloween decorations. I was like, "Hey, is that for your cube?" Because I decorated my cube. She's like, "No, actually, I belong to this secret studio that we do TikTok videos for Microsoft." And wouldn't you know, we went to Studio A, and she's right around the corner with the room that was, it was all blocked out. And she showed me her studio, and Linda happened to be there too. It was just really cool. Like, if I'd not bumped into her, I would not know. So I think that when you compliment people, or you just start a small, mostly people are shy. I'm not shy. I'm going to go to a crowd and I'm going to talk, and I don't need a drink or anything. I can just do it. And I love what I do. I love connecting people. I like keeping the workplace friendly, professional, spreading the smile to all my engineers, my PNs, and my awesome and admins. So it's all about being a family. And I love what I do. So happy to be here.
And you're
beautiful,
good at
beautiful. Well, this
it.
is
You're really
good. This is
at
good
it.
stuff. Who else?
Thank
Who
you.
else wants to share? Do you have a go-to?
I see
Or
Desi's name down in there. She just popped up there. Maybe Desi wants to share.
Oh, call me
Desi.
out. Hey, um, I try to, I don't know, I try to make a joke, and I don't want to say read the room, but I kind of do. Because I'm naturally an introvert, I hide in being an extrovert. I kind of look for the people who are in the corner and sit down and just like make a little joke about whatever is going on and get them kind of like, in that relaxed mode, because I know what it feels like to be a true introvert in a large crowd. Because Brenda called me out, I'll share. A couple of weeks ago, I bought these cards that just randomly say, "You're awesome," or, "You're a gift," whatever. And what I've tried to do to get myself out of my introvert comfort zone is randomly hand them out to people in the wild. So there are people in the drive-throughs that'll hand them out to. If I see somebody with a really awesome hair color, I'll do that as well. But yeah, that's what I do. I try to use humor, and I try to give somebody random compliments so that I get used to being.
I think you're a closet introvert. I think you're really, truly an extrovert, because you really do care and love people. It is challenging for you, I know, though, to, step out that first minute and take control. But I love it. I love what you do. And you bring smiles to a lot of people's faces. So I love it.
And I paid hard to say that, just so you guys didn't. I did pay her.
Yeah, and I haven't got my payment this month, though. No kidding.
So let's take one more.
Yeah.
Because I want to be able to end promptly at noon. So anybody else want to share just, what they've gotten out of this presentation, or their favorite piece of the connection circle, or one that they need to work on? Maybe there's like, oh, follow up. That's my, bugaboo. So we just love to, if anybody has anything to say here as we close, this is your opportunity, and you'll get brownie points with Brenda.
Somebody speak up, or I'll call out a name like I did Desi.
Call a name, Brenda.
How about Lisa?
Yeah, I think that this presentation was just a good review about just reminding everyone about the power of connection, the power of pausing, being mindful, and being present with what we do. Kind of like how Brenda mentioned, I think this organization being so busy and having so much going on at all times, it's very easy to get caught up in the nitty-gritty of what we're doing on a day-to-day. And so to have this as kind of like a let's pause, let's breathe, let's remind ourselves what this job really truly means at the end of the day, and how important we are to each other and to the really the heart of the company. I think that was awesome. And just as far as how to kind of go into a conversation with people, I usually try to aim into just kind of what Brenda said, like flattering people, seeing what I notice about them. And even if it's a little bit awkward, I just kind of start asking random questions, and I just try to kind of pry until I get like a laugh or a smile or something out of them.
Any kind of response, usually.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, and for allowing me to come here and be able to share with you. So in closing, I want to encourage you to cultivate your connections by discovering, listening, contributing, following up, and remember to nurture your network to enrich your relationships and your life. So each journey around the connection circle allows us to deepen a relationship with that person. And each person you take that journey with allows you to increase your impact with them. And over time, we have all these relationships, and we become a person of influence. And so the connection circle, when followed consistently and practiced in its entire form, builds habits that lead to the natural process of developing exceptional connections. So I'll leave you with, again, the key to a wonderful life is exceptional connections and exceptional relationships. You are exceptional. So in my exploration, I found that there are two types of people. I'm going to totally put you in a box. Those who excel at building connections, and those who are on the journey to discovering the art of connecting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cyndi.
Thank you,
This was
Cyndi.
awesome.
Thank you.
And thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you.
This was
Thank you.
amazing. Cyndi, are you sharing the deck? I know we recorded, but are you sharing the deck as well, or if they just take it off the recording?
Yeah,
have
you're
that
welcome to
reminder.
take it off the recording.
Okay. I love to have the reminder, and some of those sayings were awesome, and they fit in really truly with our roles as, you know, support partners and, you know, just in life. But I everything, when I talked to you the first time, I was like, immediately could associate a lot of your things that you said right back to our lives and how we live at Microsoft, and then how I personally am, you know, on a day-to-day basis. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come and spend it with us and sharing this. You know, it's not a life hack, it's really a lifestyle, you know. And to me, I think it was really well worth taking the time and having you come and
Thank you.
and sharing this with us. So
thank you. That means a lot to me. I appreciate it. Well, it's been an honor. And I hope you can take away some little tidbits that you can put into your own life, and Brenda's comments along the way as they relate with Microsoft. That was my heart, to be able to have this be relatable for you.
yeah, and I think, and you guys can all speak up, but I really think that we can take a lot of the where you go business to business. Ours is more, you know, like we have customers, just like I was saying, our customers are a little bit different. Sometimes they are external customers, and we deal with that on a day-to-day basis in our own personal lives, but we have customers every day, and how we support them, whether it's, you know, our own teams or whoever randomly that we need to, you know, step up and help. I love the cross group support. I love people being able to walk up to another team and feel comfortable. They might not know all the little idiosyncrasies of the team or what needs to be done or what their preferences are, but they're going to be capable in the job, and they're going to be confident when they walk in to help out with something or be approached by someone. And this is really a great training for people, especially people that are, like Desi said, that have a challenge with being more introverted, to find a way to, you know, come out of that shell and feel comfortable. That's the thing. I mean, once you get to know someone, and like Desi, I know, you know, I really do think she is a closet introvert, because she's such an amazing person and outgoing person once you get to know her, but she is more reserved until that point. But I think that happens with everybody once you build the trust, once you build that comfort level, and then you get to really know the real people. But those chance encounters give you opportunities that, you know, if we don't take them, we don't get to fulfill a lot of things that we will be missing out on. So I love it. Thank you for coming and just reminding us. And Lisa, you really did hit it. This is like a you know, a pause in our crazy days to say, don't forget, you know, to build these relationships, and also take care of yourself, and remember to do, you know, give yourself some grace on things, and nurture your own yourself so that you can be the most valued support partner, human being, friend, mother, you know, daughter, son, whatever it is, you know, and be successful. And success is different for every single person. So it really is adaptable, this program. So anyone else? We just have a couple little things we're going to say at the end. We might as well just stay on this call. Cyndi, you don't mind, do we? Do you?
No, of course not.
Okay.
Take as much time as you want. I'll stop the recording whenever you want.
Okay, well, you can stop it now. We're just going to talk about our next meeting and a little bit of